Okay, so I will attempt to make this video. It's unscripted. So I'm just coming off the top of the head, and basically I'm just gonna give you a update on my situation. My situation hasn't gotten any better. Actually, it's gotten a lot worse. And when I say a lot worse, that is exactly what I mean. In my last video, I was at work, and I try to give you a little bit of perspective of what I'm going through. And I've mentioned it before in certain videos. I didn't want to make my channel about me. That's not what my channel was about. I wanted to make real, authentic videos that inform people of what's going on in the world. See how red my skin is? Yeah, it's kind of red, huh? And I'm dark skinned as hell, but anyway, my skin is red right now. I've mentioned a number of times about electronic attacks, microwave weapons, whatever they are. But I've mentioned it. And for those who don't believe, or those who've never been subjected to this type of warfare, these weapons do exist. They are in the hands of the government, various agencies, and the government, on the other hand, are training citizens to use these type of weapons. And it's a lot of other stuff out there that they have, that critically affects the functions of the body. I mentioned a number of times about invisible chemical agents and all that kind of stuff, right? Which I call it gassing. But since I made that last video, and in that last video, I mentioned in one particular week 3 times, they were more determined than ever to kill me. Anytime you are already in dangerous heat type conditions, when you're in cities like Memphis, Tennessee, Memphis is a very hot city in the summertime. And when you are attacking people with chemical agents, when you are attacking people with certain energy directed weapons, and it heats their body up and they're sweating profusely, whether you die or not, the attempt was made. Because a lot of people can't deal with heat, but when they compound it with not only the heat, but when someone is intentionally targeting you and trying to bring harm to you through let's just call them energy directed weapons, right? Most people won't be able to deal with that kind of stuff, and a lot of people will panic, and a lot of people who aren't physically tough in that arena, they bodies might shut down on them. So again, whether you died or not does not matter, but the attempt was made. Okay, so yesterday while I was at work, I'm out with the crew, and I already told you about my suspicions with this particular crew right here at the work site. We'll go into that one day, a little bit more in depth. But so I'm out. And like I said, the surveillance lately has been complete 24 hours. I mean, there's not a minute that goes by without these people around in some kind of way. So I'm out here at a park right now between Popular and Park and Perkins. It's a little golf course. And, I've been harassed all day long. And these people follow me out here. They follow me out here. There's either a tracking device on this car or a chip in my body. Something's going on. I don't know. Right? I doubt the chip. they don't need to chip you. You know, technology today, they can follow you anywhere. And I don't want to go off on a tangent, but like I said, you know, they follow me out. They've been all day. It's been going on all day. But yesterday I'm at work. And like I say, the workplace is providing these people with the schedule. So every time we pull up to a work site, the operation is already set up. They already have the people in place that's going to play, you know, the integral role of doing whatever they do against you. They already got the people in place. So we pull up yesterday. It's another work crew out there. I'm not tripping. So, you know, another a Hispanic crew, from what I can see, and they belong to a different company, private company. So we pull up. To me, everything appeared normal. I had no reason to believe that I would be attacked in the manner in which I was attacked, but I was. Now, mind you, yesterday was like 93 degrees. And again, with these energy directed weapons, they two things happen, right? One, you lose your sense of equilibrium. Two, you are dehydrated. But that's compounded with whatever chemical they use, you know, to facilitate your dehydration, which they've used many against me. So I'm out there, and all of a sudden, I start feeling not so well. And then I started to feel a little off balance. But as I'm having these experiences, I'm looking at my coworkers. 3 Hispanics and 1 black dude. Just their body language and movement. Every time I would walk anywhere near them, they would hurriedly scurry away to another part of the work site. So, I started drinking water. Which, you know, I drink water all the time. I drink water all the time. I don't know of too many more people who drink more water than I do. But I drink a lot of water. I really don't drink sodas. You know, every now and then I have a soda or something like that. I try to stay away from sugary drinks. But yesterday, no matter how much water I drank, the dehydration would not go away. So the situation developed to the point to where I was like, hey man, y'all need to just take me on back to the storage. Just take me back to the storage, right? So they're taking their time, trying to act like they don't hear what I'm talking about, right? But again, it's the game. It's the game that's being played. We know it's a game. It's a game that's being played. I know it's a game because I've been around the situation. I can just tell. Okay, so you're stalling. And then as my symptoms started to get worse, I had to almost demand, like, look, man, I need y'all to take me back to the storage right now. So as we're heading back to the storage, my heart started racing. I mean, like now, right? There's no reason for my heart to be racing. None at all. It's 90-some degrees outside. And at some point, I stopped sweating, which is a very bad sign. And I couldn't really feel the heat anymore. I was feeling coolness, right? So, you know, I'm having these experiences, and you know, we get to the storage, but at this point, you know, I'm kind of like definitely had lost my sense of equilibrium, but also you know, my mental faculties weren't all there. So I'm thinking that I had locked my keys in the car. but my keys actually were inside the work truck. So I couldn't find my keys, so I got back off inside the work truck, and then we drove away again, right? We drive over to East Memphis to this little equipment store that they, look at my skin. See how red it's turning? Yeah, so, we drive over to this equipment store. And when I get over there, the symptoms now are so acute. Everybody else had got out of the truck. And then I stayed in the truck. So I said, okay, well, let me just try to lay down while they're not here. So I lay down. Instead of my coworkers offering any type of assistance, they just stood around. I'm still conscious. I never lost consciousness, but sometimes I try to put myself in a state of calmness, to whereas I like going to like a hibernation. So I could hear everything around me. I heard my coworkers. Not one time did they say, "Man, are you okay?" Not one time did they try to offer any type of water, nothing. But again, you have to remember, they are a part of the strategy. So, I know my blood, with my body going hot and cold like that, I know my blood pressure is out of the roof. My electrolytes probably were off. As far as sugar, maybe the sugar dropped. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. But what I do know is that instead of them trying to ascertain if I was okay or not, no, they stood around. They did not offer to call an ambulance, anything like that. I mean, they stood there and watched me suffer inside that truck. They watched me suffer. So they call my cousin. My cousin show up. I already told you about my suspicions, which have been confirmed at this point about my cousin. It is confirmed. I mean, they in America, they convict you on circumstantial evidence. I have so much circumstantial evidence against her, I don't even need nothing physical. Not against her. But instead of her acting like a concerned cousin for a family member that you clearly see that's suffering and under duress, instead of her showing any compassion, what does she do? She goes on a rant, demanding that I get up. Demanded. And I'm sweating a little bit right now. Like I say. So she goes on this rant. And you have to remember, she's working for these people. There's no doubt in my mind she's working for them. She's the one that's providing them with the targeting information for the work site. So she goes off on a rant. She personally jumps in our work truck and drives me back to the storage. She's irate. Not concerned for a family member that's in distress, but irate that I had the nerve to lay down on the job and stop work. This is what she's irate about. So she drops me off at the storage. Eventually I leave the storage. By this time my dad didn't come. I don't know why he came up there, anything like that. But he came up there and he showed no genuine concern. I got no genuine concern about him. So when I eventually leave, I'm having all these symptoms, and when I tell you that those people followed me all over the city of Memphis. I mean, I don't know how they do it, but it's like they put out this, it's like they put out I don't know what they do. But what I do know is that since I've been going through this experience right here, correct? Since I've been going through this experience, I finally know now how deeply embedded government intelligence is inside of the community. They have extensive networks of informants inside this country. People, but again, it's the citizens' country, so yeah, they should be willing to work for their government. I'll give them a win on that part. I'll give them a win. I'll take the L for not, this stuff is new to me. I would never work as an informant for the government or agitator or provocateur or anything like that. But, this stuff is new to me. So they follow me everywhere. The surveillance continued on into the night. I drove from where I was at. Went to see a friend, and the amount of money that they're spending on me, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. The amount, okay, the infrastructure that they've put in place to watch and harass me, and I'm assuming eventually, kill me, or they want me to, I don't know what they want. I could care less at this point. I mean, it's astounding. I mean, I'm not connected to a terrorist organization, anything like that. I'm not engaged in any kind of crime. Gave up crime years ago. I'm minding my own business. And whether I mind my own business or not, it's just not enough. It's not enough of them. But if people actually knew how much money and resources they were pouring into achieving whatever outcome they want, people would be amazed. They would literally be amazed at how much money they're spending, how many elements they're incorporating into the overall intelligence gathering operation. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? So, last night, the attacks were less intense than what they were yesterday. Yesterday was horrible. I'm just going to straight tell you, it was horrible. It was horrible yesterday. I mean, I'm dealing with my arteries or veins shrinking. I'm dealing with rapid heartbeats. And you can feel when you're being hit by the energy directed weapon. You can feel it. Now, what you cannot feel or cannot see is the chemical agent that they spray first. I mean, I don't know how they deliver it, but I'm sure they have quite a few delivery methods. I know for sure that someone has tampered, not just this time, but a number of times with my truck. And I don't know if they put a device under my truck because I can feel it. And it's like, man, that pulse is coming from inside this truck. Or either inside the truck or outside the truck. But also, what they use is that they already have these vehicles that's going to follow you around, and off inside those vehicles, the people are going to be armed with whatever device they've been given. So you cannot escape it. They're going to zap you no matter where you go, you're going to get zapped. You're going to get zapped because remember, this is the government, right? So every agency, every company, every grocery store, everyone is going to collaborate with these people because that's what they're supposed to do. Now, I don't know if most of these, I don't know these people. And they come from all walks of life, black, white, Hispanic, whatever, I don't know what they're being told, what they've been told. And at this point, I don't care. And they hitting me right now. That's why I'm sweating like this. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know these people's political beliefs or social beliefs, anything like that. But if it was me, right, it's just certain activities I'm not going to engage in. I'm not going to do it because it's wrong. But so many people are willing to go against what they know to be right just to be a part of the cool kid club, So they'll go against what's right. And what's right is that if you know something is wrong, especially when you're doing it to another human being because someone came and told you to do it, that's wrong. It's wrong. But again, more people want to be a part of the cool kid club. So they're willing to go against all manner of principle, moral integrity, biblical beliefs. They'll go against all that just to be a part of the cool kids club, So I've accepted that. I've grown to accept it. Nothing I can do about it. There's just too many people involved. There's too many people involved. You're never going to be able to defeat it, right? You can just only hope that when you're being attacked, and the way I'm being attacked, I'm mostly isolated, So I'm being attacked in locations where they can put a lot of people around me that can target me from different angles. I mean, you're gonna get targeted from every angle imaginable. You gotta remember, man, these people are a part of the security forces. The ones behind the design of the operations. They are a part of the security forces. So when it comes to like intelligence gathering, positioning, coordinates, and all that kind of stuff, they experts in that, right? And when they study your pattern, they know your pattern. They know you go to certain locations, go here, you go there. They know all this, right? So, like myself, I go to 2 gyms down here, LA Fitness. They know when I go to the gym. The people at the front desk already been recruited. The janitors already been recruited. So, when you enter that gym, they know immediately, right? And the operation is set up. So today, minding my own business, and I've been harassed all day long. All day long. I sat behind the gym over on Winchester. I just sat behind there all day because my cousin told me not to show up for work for a couple of days. So the people made me homeless. That's not even enough for them. I mean, you want to attack a homeless man? Okay, cool. I'll accept that. So I sat behind the gym. And the reason why I go in certain places, it's not like I'm foolishly walking into a trap. I go there because I know I'm going to be attacked, and I'd rather just not let the public see the attack. I mean, they horrible. I'll film one day, and you'll see. Of course, you're not going to see the energy-directed weapons. You're not going to see any of that. You're not going to see the gas. So you're not going to see the cause of the effect, but you definitely see my reaction. Definitely, right? So, before I talk about what I went through today, yesterday, after all the horrible stuff that had happened on the job, which was a horrible experience, I went to the gym on Winchester, parked behind the gym, and they know I come up there all the time. And when I tell you the intensity of this attack was a level 10 on the 10, I meant that. And it lasted for hours. Hour after hour after hour after hour. There's a lot of, how could I say it? This particular gym was built in an area with it used to be a lot of forest in this area, this part of Memphis. So, you know, even though they built the structure and all that kind of stuff, you know, around the area right there, a lot of tall trees and brush and foliage and all that kind of stuff. So it's easy for someone to hide in the woods and target you from that angle, which they did. They did that, right? But it's also coming from inside the gym. It's coming from inside the gym because you can hear the people behind the wall, you know, because I park close to the wall, you know, parking lot, I park close to the wall, and you can hear them inside that gym. But when I tell you this attack was a 10 on a 10, and that I sweaty. See how I'm sweating now? That's because I'm being targeted right now. There's no reason for me to be sweating like this. So I'm not exercising, you know, even though it's kind of warm down here, I still shouldn't be sweating like this. But the attack lasted for hours. Eventually I had to go into, like I say, my state of hibernation. That's, you know, I can hear everything around me. But I try to, you know, I try to slow my heartbeat down. And that right there would put me in a greater state of meditation or hibernation, whatever you want to call it. But I sweated, then I stopped sweating, I sweated again. It was a very bad attack. A very bad attack. And the attack lasted into the night, and eventually I went to sleep. So I don't know what happened after that. So today, the surveillance today, I no longer believe that this surveillance, this is going to be here. They're not going away this time. I don't expect them to. I stay right here. You know, don't go nowhere, right? Because the people who know me, everybody know what's going on. Everybody know. There are so many people that have been incorporated into this operation here that it's impossible for it to remain a secret. So everyone knows. Everyone knows I'm the target. Everyone knows this, right? Today, it took up where it left off. Now, earlier, the attack, you know, they eased me into it. And like I said, I parked by the wall at the gym, and I could feel the heat coming from inside the gym. You can feel it. Like, when it hits your body, you can feel it. You know, you can feel it. And I also heard people moving around out in the wooded area. There's one particular guy who works in the gym. He walked past my truck a number of times with an attitude. This fool, you got the nerve to have an attitude against me? You attacking me? I'm not attacking you. But you want to have an attitude against me. So, you know, I'm ready. At this point, I'm ready to fight at the drop of a dime. Now, nothing, you know, a fight, you know, we can do that. For real, we can do that, right? So all day long, you know, I'm being hit. I'm starting to sweat. I can feel a thick foreign substance on my lips. You know, of course, you can feel it on your clothes. It's a thick, gooey type stuff. And then when I burped one time, I burped, and then when I burped, I could feel it in my throat, right? You know, I could taste it. You know, and it has a particular taste. I've tasted this a number of times, so I know I'm not tripping, right? So I think I might have left the gym around close to 5 o'clock. You know, it started raining, and you know, I like the outdoors. I like the elements, so you know, you move with the storm. So that's what I did. But prior to me moving with the storm, the introduction of, you know, of course, you know, I can feel when the heat is in my body, and every time the heat hits you, you know, you're gonna feel like a breeze, and then you're gonna start sweating. But I also could hear how one method of the gas was being delivered. I could hear him squeezing, you know, I heard it. I said, okay, well, it's coming from over here. You know, I have keen sense of hearing. My hearing is keen as hell. You know. So I left. Came over here to the, you know, near the Orange Mine area. I said, well, it's time for me to eat because I didn't eat yesterday. I mean, the attack was just too great. I didn't want to eat. So I came over here. I said, okay, I'm going to grab whatever I'm going to eat. And then I'm going to go over here to the park that I'm in now. So I did. When I get over here, the parking lot was mostly empty. But then, you know, cars started to arrive. And again, I'm just looking now. I'm making no judgment, but I'm just seeing, you know, more and more cars are starting to arrive. I mean, you know, the usual setup. You know, the white woman, she gave it away first, the white woman with the dog, because she stayed. She was maybe like 100 yards from me, 75, 80 yards to 100, between 75 and 100 yards. But she tried to position herself behind a tree. But as she did that, she's just staring over here at me. Didn't move. Obviously, you're conducting visual surveillance, and I think she was already in the park. She was already in the park, from what I could see, because she came walking on foot. I didn't see her, you know, drive in with a car or nothing like that. But you got to remember that these people they have a network. So the way I parked, I'm facing. What is that over there? Let me see. It's a building behind me, and I don't think it's a hotel. One second, give me 1 second. Yeah, so I don't think it's a hotel, right? But it's a building, and you know, then I started to see some activity. So I saw a group of Negroes go over there, right? You know, the Negroes show up. That's all bad, because in my situation, it's the Negroes who are the primary perpetrators of the activity. So I see this one particular guy walk there. I don't know if he had a pink shirt on, maybe some khaki pants or something like that. But obviously he didn't. He knew nothing about the building, right? He knew nothing about the building, and you know, he had to walk up to the door. And when he walked up to the door, you know, I could see him. He's over there fidgeting and all this other kind of stuff, right? So he go inside the building. Now I can see not into the lobby. Yeah, okay, yeah, I can see into the lobby from here, right? So then I just start seeing a few people going back and forth, but they standing in the window. They're standing in like I say, like a lobby type area, right? Now this woman just parked her car. Why are you parking your car over here beside me in the park? You get out of your car, and then you gotta walk across the street to that building I'm just telling y'all about. A black lady, right? A black lady. Who does that? You're gonna park over here, right? And then you're gonna get out of your car and you're gonna walk across the street, presumably heading toward that building. Now I didn't lost sight of her, but she's not over here by her car. I saw her walking that way, right? All suspicious activity. You know, I'm used to the gang now, right? And I'll be able to tell you in a few minutes if there's anything coming from where she parked her car at. Because like I said, they set these batteries up inside their cars, all kind of stuff, right? So anyway, back to what I was saying. So I'm seeing movement over there. So I'm already knowing that you know, they don't went to that building over there. It's like they do everything else. And they rile everybody up. Oh, that's the bad guy right there. I'm not doing nothing now. Mind you, I'm not doing any single thing. I'm not doing anything, right? I'm being attacked. I'm slowly being murdered because, you know, these attacks is damaging to the body. I can feel my kidneys. I can feel, yeah, she went to that building. Yeah, that's her over. She went to that damn building. Yep, she went to that building over there. That's where she went. To the exact same building way across the street. Who does that? You park way over here in the park beside me. You get out of your car and walk clean across the street. Come on, man. No. But again, I'll let you know if I feel anything coming from that car right there. So again, I'm at a golf course, and when I look up, to my right is a group of white people, you know, out here playing golf, or maybe they perpetrating fraud like they playing golf. I don't know, right? But as I'm sitting here, you know, I look up, and when I look up, whatever one of the guys had in his hand, he tried to hide it. So I said, okay, so they incorporated them into that action also, right? So when you go somewhere, you're going to be attacked from all angles. Or when you're in a situation like this, you're going to be attacked. You're not going to be able to run and hide. You're not going to be able to do any of that kind of stuff, right? You basically have to make a decision of, you know, how much you're going to take, if anything, right? You know, and I no longer, okay, how could I say this? I can say that, you know, these last couple months have been rough, right? And I've been going through this for so long, you know, sometimes, you know, I go through periods of relative calm where, yeah, you know, the surveillance is still around, but the physical attacks have subsided dramatically, right? And, you know, you kind of like go back into living a normal lifestyle. You know, you just go back to being a human. And then you go through periods of, like I'm going through now, where the attacks are every day. I mean, you know, what's going on down here is like what was going on when I was in California, out there in California. I mean, the attacks were every day out there. I didn't get a break in California. I got no breaks. Right? When I got down here to Memphis, when I first got down here, you know, they would attack occasionally, but nothing like what they're doing now. So, again, you know, when you go through, you know, relative periods of calm, you know, you kind of like go back to normalcy, or whatever you perceive to be normal. And you just try to live your life, you know. But now is a different story, right? Because I went through my period of calmness, but also I've gone through my period of attack. And I like calm. I like calm periods. What I can tell you this time, right, is that I'm no longer willing to peacefully live through these attacks anymore. I'm just not. I don't want to go through this no more. I don't want to go back to that. I've been extremely humble as of late. Humble to the point to whereas when I know something is going on around me, I just try to overlook it and move on. But how much can you take? That's the question. How much can you take? So these attacks and you know, the increased surveillance, both human intelligence sources, the electronic intelligence gathering methods, they've been intense lately. just like it was when I was in California. We're talking about aerial surveillance. It can't be denied. Cannot be denied. But it's like I'm saying now, I'm no longer willing to just suffer through these attacks anymore. I'm not going back to that. I'm not going back to that old paranoid, looking over my shoulder every 5 minutes. There's a spy behind every goddamn tree. I'm no longer willing to subject myself to that, right? Because as a human being, you should no one should be put through that. So I'm no longer. I mean, you know, before I thought things would get better. Oh man, maybe it's gonna go away one day. But I just turned 52 years old. It's not gonna get better. And I'm seeing with age, the intensity of the attacks don't decrease. You know, some people have sympathy for older people. These people have no sympathy. They like to torture. They like to torture. That's what they do. They torture. Or this is organized, state-sponsored torture, and they do it well. So no matter, you know, the physical toll that it takes on your body, because it's definitely affected me. I mean, like I say, I'm losing hearing in my right ear. I used to have I don't know if it was a heartburn or what, but you know, when the attacks were more prevalent, you know, year before last, I started having this feeling in my heart. And then, you know, a couple weeks ago, I was like, man, I haven't felt that. I said, man, that feeling is gone, right? But with the amount of attacks I've experienced lately, that feeling came back in my heart. You know, my heart burning and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, I already got nerve damage in my hands. You know, they called it ulnar neuropathy syndrome. But it's like now, man, I'm no longer, you know, I'm not, we ain't gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. I'm not gonna go through that stuff no more. The gang stalking, you know, of course they know they can't, because I'm not scared of none. I have not ran into one of them that I'm physically afraid of. Not one. And I know they got some tough dudes working for them. You know, some of the agents are tough. You know, some of these people train. But physically, I have not run into not one of them that put any kind of fear in my heart whatsoever. Any kind of fear. Like, oh man, I think I'd be scared for him. Not one. Not one. Right? So, I'm just no longer willing to subject myself to these type of attacks, man. I'm just not. I'd rather be dead or sitting in prison. But as far as me, just, you know, subjecting myself to these type of attacks, and these attacks are so damn intense that, I mean, just intense, right? So, you know, I don't know how much longer, you know, before I make the decision, man, that today is the day. I mean, today is the day. You know, you try to, again, you know, you think stuff is going to improve, but it's not. It's not going to improve. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. The question could be asked, which side is winning? Because it's thousands of them. There's only one of me. So the question is, which side is winning? Who's winning? Who's winning this tug of war right here? Who's winning the psychological battles? Because every time I get up and walk away, every time they see me go through this intense suffering, right? And then I get up and walk away, it's like, who actually won that battle? Did you win or did I win? So the question could be asked, who's really winning? I mean, you have human intelligence sources. You have all the resources. You have area surveillance. You have your weapons at your disposal, all being used against one man. And that one man is taking literally everything you've thrown at him. And he still gets up off the ground and walks away. So the question, who's actually winning? Because the attacks have two effects, right? One is meant to affect me personally, yes. But for number two, it has an even bigger cause, because when people see the way I'm being attacked, no one wants to be a part of that. They don't want to go through that, right? They don't want to go through it. I wouldn't either. So it's like, are these operations designed for me, which we know they are, or are they designed to instill fear in the public? So every time the public think I'm near death, and then I get up and walk away, who's actually winning that battle right there? Is it them, which they number in the thousands, along with everything, all the everything they got, or just one man with no resources, no help, no weapons, just one goddamn man that they done threw everything against? My body's in intense pain right now. They throwing it at me right now, right? If I got up and angled this camera around, you'll see some of the operatives out there. But this one man who takes the attack, goes through whatever he goes through during that attack. I mean, you know, numb the bodies, like I say, it's just fucking my hands up, my hearing is gone, my eyesight, all that kind of stuff. But that one man gets up off the ground. And sometimes I can look at some of the perpetrators and I see straight hatred in their eyes, because they just don't understand why this man keeps getting up. Why don't you just lay down and die, man? One dude said that. Why don't you just lay down and die? Just lay down and die. Is what this person said as I was on the ground suffering. But that's not what's happening. Why don't you just commit suicide? Man, I had somebody tell me that. Commit suicide. Never. Come on, man. We'll commit a homicide. We ain't doing no suicides, right? So the question, who's actually winning this? That remains to be seen. I mean, I can't answer that question, you know, because I go through it. I took an L yesterday for sure. I'll accept that. I took that L. Yes, I did. I took the L yesterday. They got me. But rarely do they get me, but they got me. They got me yesterday. I'll go ahead and take that, right? Like I say, you know, severe dehydration, extremely elevated blood, you know, blood pressure, sugar probably dropped, veins collapsing like right now. My veins, I don't see no veins. So that's a bad sign, right? I feel my kidneys, you know, I can feel that. So you can ask yourself, man, who's actually winning this? Who's winning? Are they winning or am I winning? At some point, you know, during one of these operations, I'm gonna pass, yes. The human body isn't designed for this kind of battery, this type of brutality. It's not designed for that. I no longer have any hope. Hope that it's gonna go away. Hope that it's gonna get better. Hope they're just gonna leave me alone. No, there is no more hope. There's no more hope. So with there being no more hope, because there's no more hope in my world now. But also, I'm no longer willing to just take these attacks just laying down. Now, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna do it. So I'll take it for now, because my mind is already made up that I'm just not gonna take these attacks like this anymore. I mean, I can't. I'm 52 years old, man. Not 32. not 22, not 42. I'm 52, and they are still attacking me. And the attacks are getting worse, worse, and worse. 24 hours now, right? I can't even say that I'm disappointed in the blacks. I can't even say that, man, because, you know, the American black is a product of his historical evolution and introduction into this society. Most of, you know, we came in as slaves, and most of us were going to leave here as slaves, whether physically or mentally, right? But the blacks are their biggest cheerleaders, especially the black women. Especially the black women. I wouldn't want anybody to go through this experience right here, because no one should be forced to live in this manner. I shouldn't be forced to live in this manner. I mean, hell, man, just get the shit over with. The government kills people, we know this. But again, these people, they want to see you suffer. They become exuberated when they see me on the ground, withering in pain. They become like small schoolgirls, right? And I'm gonna tell you like this here. When I do die, it's not gonna be how they said I died. It's not gonna be from no motherfucking drugs in my system, alcohol in my system. There ain't gonna be none of that. It's gonna be none of that. They fucking killed me, is what they did. Using what I told you they're using. Energy-directed weapons, various chemical agents, things of that nature. So, you know, if I suddenly have a heart attack, if I suddenly have an aneurysm, if I suddenly have a severe stroke, it didn't happen the way they said it happened. They killed me, is what they did. They did that shit, right? Hey, I'm not gonna be angry, because at least my suffering to be over with at that point, man. But no, it's not gonna be, you know, oh, he had drugs in his system, he died of an overdose. No, hell no. Oh, he had alcohol the night before, and he was out in 100-degree heat, and he fell out, stroke. No. Anybody know me know I overconsume water. Love drinking water all the goddamn time, right? No, they killed me. A slow, agonizing death, and it's gonna be their fault if I don't die from natural causes, right? And you know, I don't know if it's gonna be an autopsy or anything like that, but I can guarantee you that when they take that autopsy, if the government doesn't retrieve the body first and try to hide the obvious, they're gonna find some foreign chemicals in my blood. Because see, they hit you with the chemicals all day. That's how they keep you. I mean, I don't know. I have a theory on how each works. You know, hit you with the invisible gas and then hit you with whatever energy directed weapon they're hitting you with. But again, it's just my theory, right? Obviously, they work both. In my case, they work both. So, it's not going to be what they said. Oh, he had methamphetamine in the system. Oh, he had whatever in the system. Hell no. No. Y'all did that. Y'all know what the hell y'all doing. Y'all did that. Right? Oh, try to make it look like an accident. No. I mean, you can see how red my skin is now. Right? Look how red that. I don't know what that means right there, but my skin is red as hell, and I'm telling you, I'm being hit with energy-directed weapons. Why is my skin red like that? You feel me? I'm a dark dude, but you know, when they hit you with that stuff, your skin turns red sometimes. Sometimes you break out with this horrible rash. I do. But I just wanted to, you know, give another update as to my situation. It hasn't improved, or hasn't improved. It's actually gotten worse. and I'm only assuming it's going to get worse. I expect for it to get worse than what it is today, because the question is, who's winning? Is it the one man with no resources, no help, only a will and determination to resist? Not physically resist, but just resist. Like, you know, the law of survival, just resist. Or is the cool kid club winning this battle? With your thousands and thousands of human intelligence sources you have, with your drones, and your helicopters, energy directed weapons, all that kind of stuff. So if it take all y'all to break one man, and you still ain't broken yet, then who's winning this battle? Who's really winning? Some people say, man, boy, they be fucking them up. Which they do. They be fucking, y'all be fucking me up. For sure. Y'all definitely be fucking me up. You know what I'm saying? Got my eyesight going bad now. My hearing, you know, deep pain within my eardrums. Of course, my hands are getting worse. Now I got that burn in my heart again because you've been hitting me with that energy directed weapon lately. My nuts hurting right now because something is being aimed at me. You never can see where it's coming from. You need specialized equipment for that. But man, who's winning? Who's really winning? That's the question. Even if I eventually die, right? Even if I eventually die from one of the attacks, or, you know, I go do something, you know, something stupid and get myself killed, who actually won? Who won that? Because if it take 1,000 people to psychologically defeat one man and you still ain't broke him, then if I'm a judge and I'm scoring the card, I'm gonna say, man, dude won. He won. He won that. Because y'all never broke him. Yeah, you made him suffer like hell. You made the man homeless. He can't get a woman now. Y'all did that. But as far as y'all breaking this man's spirit, y'all were never able to do that. Not to me. Right? And they, again, they get extremely angry behind that, because I'm not scared of y'all, man. Man, I'm Ntwai Numela. That's who I am. I'm not scared of the state. I'm not. I'm just one of them black dudes, man. I'm not scared of the government. And y'all done some horrible things to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and end on that note, because it's getting kind of late, and I want to move and get set up in whatever position I'm gonna get set up in. Of course, you know, the agitators are out, and when I move this time, it's still not exactly dark yet, but the area surveillance will be up. The provocateurs are gonna be following you around and all this all kind of shit. And there's just no telling what they have in store for me tonight. It's gonna be quite interesting. But on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and smoke on my rest of my little cigar right here and get prepared to move. But the blacks, man, they've been so disappointing. I don't even know what to say, man. That's been one of the biggest disappointments of this entire horrific experience, man. The blacks, man. It's like, how could y'all, man? But I'm gonna go ahead and end on that note. And maybe I'll make it through the night. Maybe I won't. But on that note, Chulewa.